The player I wanted to talk about is a very different scenario from Ramsey and Umtiti in Jadon Sancho, who obviously doesn't need a move for his career in the same way that those two do. But it does feel like his situation has slightly changed in the last 2 weeks. Obviously, Dortmund decided to sack Lucien Favre after that 5-1 defeat to Stuttgart at the weekend. You can go and watch ERU from earlier this week where McCubbs and Henry broke it down. That, and also go check out the podcast from this week where we covered Borussia Dortmund in quite a lot of detail there. But I won't cover that again. But you know, his replacement is his assistant Edin Terzic, who used to be Slaven Bilic's number 2 at West Ham and Besiktas. He's never really managed before. He's taking over till the end of the year, and there's a certain element of risk into the end of the Dortmund season. Really, they're only 3 points off top and 4 points clear of 8th place Gladbach at the time of writing. So it's a really tight league this year, and you just don't know how that's going to go until the end of the year. Like, not every assistant manager that steps into the helm is going to do a Hansi Flick. Like, Terzic might be good, he might not be. And I feel like in sacking Lucien Favre, you've kind of risked what could go on to the end of the year. Now, I don't think Jadon Sancho is going to leave in January, but if Dortmund don't finish in the top 4, which at the moment it's very tight, they might not, and there's some good teams around, then I think that just opens up the possibility of him definitely leaving next summer, whether United finish on the top 4 or not. Because I know that plenty of other clubs will come in from there as well. And in fairness to Sancho, like, he is obviously a fantastic player, but to be honest, like, his season hasn't gone as well as he'd planned. He's got 0 goals and 3 assists in 10 Bundesliga games, although he did contribute 4 goals in 5 Champions League games. So he needs his personal form to pick up in order to sort of guarantee that move next year. And he also needs the Dortmund scenario or situation to sort of go quite smoothly. And Dortmund certainly will as well, because if they're not in the Champions League, it weakens their bargaining position as well. And he'll probably go for a lot less money. And Haaland is also out till next month. So Sancho really needs to step up in the next few games. The other player I wanted to mention from the Bundesliga is Joshua Zirkzee, who's very different to Sancho in that he just hasn't had any game time really this year, with Eric Choupo-Moting coming in as Lewandowski's number 2 and actually playing pretty well when he's been called upon as well. Choupo-Moting, that is. But Zirkzee's a really exciting young Dutch forward. He contributed some crucial goals last year. I think he made 14 appearances and scored 4 goals. I think he got winners against Freiburg and Werder Bremen, a goal against Gladbach as well. So really popped up and was pretty useful as well. But now, since that arrival of Choupo-Moting, he's only played 96 minutes in the league and Champions League. And apparently FC Cologne are interested in taking him on loan, which would be an absolutely fantastic move for him. They're 15th in the table. They're 3 points above the relegation zone. So there would be a certain amount of pressure on his shoulders. You know, coming from a big club like Bayern, walking into that dressing room, you've got to start to deliver and save that club from relegation. But it's a great chance for him to perform. So I think that would be a fantastic move for him. And then I've just put down one wild card here, is Radi Krunic, ex-Empoli attacking midfielder who's been at Milan since June 2019. Only made 35 appearances for the club, contributed 1 goal, but he does have a bit about him. I remember looking at him when he was at Empoli. I didn't obviously watch Empoli every week, but his stats were really impressive. 12 league goal contributions in 33 games in 18-19, which earned him that move. 3.4 shot creating actions per 90. He's not getting a look in at Milan with Calhanoglu, Castillejo, etc. playing so well in his stead, particularly Calhanoglu, Lesu Castillejo. So Radi Krunic could be available for a good sort of deal there as well.
Samuel Umtiti is our next candidate, and there's been a lot of talk about him, hasn't there, in recent weeks, about Barcelona wanting to get rid of him in January. Obviously, we've spoken about Barcelona's kind of financial troubles of late, and really reducing their wage bill is kind of top of the agenda, isn't it? It's just been a really difficult couple of years for Umtiti, hasn't it? He made 83 appearances in his first 2 campaigns at Barca. He was probably, he kind of put himself in, that bracket of the top 3 or 4 defenders in the world, to be honest. Especially when it came to very much the art of defending, putting yourself in the way of everything, reading the game expertly. He ticks all the boxes, doesn't he? Or at least he did tick all the boxes. It's so difficult to say now because we haven't seen him play in so long. 35 appearances across the last 2.5 seasons. That knee injury that was beginning to dog him kind of towards the halfway stage of 2018. That was aggravated at the 2018 World Cup, and he's never really fully recovered from that. He's missed 63 games since the start of 18-19. So, like, I mean, yeah, it's just a bit of a sad case, really, isn't it? You know, obviously Barcelona, I think, were kind of prepared for it a little bit. They brought in Clement Longley that summer as well, in July 2018. I don't know. I feel like they perhaps brought him in as maybe a long-term PK replacement and to partner Umtiti, to be honest, and that obviously hasn't worked out as they would have planned. They're still far too reliant on Gerard Piqué at this stage. So yeah, I think a loan move probably would be good for him. I've been reading that apparently he's nearly back to full fitness, but that doesn't, that hasn't changed Barca's position. I think it's still clear that they want rid. He's on £75,000 a week, which is, for a player who's hardly played in 2 years, far too much, isn't it? But again, I don't know if that's actually the best move for Barcelona. Like, their defence has been so poor recently. You know, Ronald Araujo and Mingueza as well, who was promoted from the B team recently. Like, I don't know. I'm not overly impressed by them. They both look a bit prone to mistakes. So at least from the kind of small sample size of games we've seen so far. So I don't know. From a footballing aspect, I feel like if Umtiti is back fully fit, as some reports are suggesting, that perhaps Barca might be better off just keeping him until the summer, because, you know, it could be a really, really long rest of season for them, especially if they don't have, you know, more than 2 centre-backs fit at one time. Having said that, there do seem to be some teams who are interested. So Juventus have been linked with a loan move. So I feel like that wouldn't necessarily be a bad move. At the same time, I feel like Juve's defence has improved a bit in the last kind of month or two. Everton have also been linked as well. Although, again, not really sure that makes a lot of sense. They've got a fairly stacked defence at the moment. And again, I don't think it's in the state that it was, you know, a year or two ago. Benfica as well. Not really sure about that one, to be honest. To be honest, the only thing I can see, or the thing I feel makes the most sense, is for him to go back to Lyon. I think he has always expressed a desire to go back there, either as a player or as a coach. And I think they were linked with him kind of towards the end of the summer. I don't know. I just feel like that would make sense for him, like somewhere where he can go regain his confidence. You know, a league which isn't quite as taxing as a defender as La Liga. You know, a club where he's clearly loved. Not a huge amount of kind of statistical or tactical analysis to give you there, but I just feel I feel like that would make sense for Umtiti.
I think that's a really good shout, and also, yeah, it's a good point about Everton, to be honest. I mean, with Holgate, Yerry Mina, Michael Keane, who's playing probably the best football of his career, Ben Godfrey as well. I just don't think you need to throw in a player who's been out pretty much for 2 years into that mix. So I think that's not the best move for him.